Captain Varnock studied the readout on his console with his third and fourth eyes as his ship dropped out of quantum space. The human homeworld Earth drifted into view through the main port window. He chittered his mandibles in surprise. First Officer Clax, what do the scans show? He clicked. The humans claimed their world was Class 5, but I'm only reading technology consistent with Class 2 or 3. Clax manipulated the sensor panel with 4 of his 6 appendages. Sensors confirm, Captain. The planet is nearly devoid of energy signatures and orbital infrastructure. I'm detecting residual radiation in the upper atmosphere from primitive atomic weapons, but no evidence of modern quadrinium drives or Ansible communicators. Curious, Varnock rubbed 2 of his legs together, an unconscious nervous gesture. Clearly we have been deceived. Send a priority transmission to Fleet Command about. Sir, Clax's voice resonated with alarm. We have incoming ships. Profile matches human configurations. Varnock spun around to face the port window just as 6 sleek vessels with rotating gravity sections dropped out of metaspace in perfect synchronization. Within microseconds, targeting alarms blared across the bridge. Evasive maneuvers, he yelled. But Clax waved all 6 appendages in a sign of despair. It's too late. Weapons interlocks enabled. We've been hacked. Welcome aboard the HSS Intrepid, Captain Varnock said the human greeting delegation in clumsy clicks and whistles as they matched the air pressure between ships. We apologize for the abrupt precautionary measures taken against your vessel, but we detected several unauthorized access attempts into our networks that we traced back to your ship's AI cores. Varnock managed to conceal his shock at the human's flawless mastery of his native language. Their words emerged from a translating device, but the ability to replicate the nuances of his species' speech suggested sophistication well beyond their apparent technological level. I assure you, hierocracy means no harm, Varnock said carefully with all 4 of his vocal modulators, reducing the risk of misunderstanding. We detected odd discrepancies in your planetary profile that merited further investigation. You must understand our curiosity, given that your kind claimed Class 5 status. The human delegation leader, an older male with silver hair on the sides of his head, smiled gently. Of course, Captain. We expected doubts from newly contacted species. If you and your officers would follow me, I believe we can resolve this confusion. Varnock signaled his senior staff, and they fell in behind the human, who led them through an interface chamber and into a wide circular room with a transparent dome ceiling, showing a dazzling view of Earth and Luna against the blackness of space. Varnock noted that the gravity felt perfectly calibrated to his species norm, and the temperature and atmospheric mix was configured for comfort despite human variations. Someone had done their homework. My name is Admiral John Bricker, said the human. Let me give you a quick overview of our unusual circumstances before the demonstration begins. As I'm sure your scans verified, our observable technology outside of gravity manipulation remains relatively primitive. But I assure you, we are very much a Class 5 civilization. Admiral Bricker smiled at the delegation's uneasy movements. We have taken a somewhat unorthodox path of development, thanks to a quirk of biology. Our brains evolved unusually complex neural architecture and operate at a processing speed nearly 1,000 times faster than the galactic average. We perceive time at an accelerated rate. A single second for us subjectively feels like 15 minutes. It took eons of evolution for us to even detect this difference. Varnock swayed from side to side as the shocking implications hit him. He glanced at his officers and saw his own horror reflected back. Priority alarms blared across his consciousness. As you can imagine, the Admiral continued. This led to significant obstacles early in our development. But once the gift of our perception was realized, our civilization advanced rapidly in ways no other species has conceived. He gestured to the dome-transparent ceiling. In the next few minutes, as you experience them, you will witness a small demonstration of human capabilities. We will then discuss reconciliation and potential for mutual cooperation. He checked the time display projected above his wrist. The demonstration will begin. Now, Varnock followed the Admiral's gaze upward. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then a distortion appeared in space, a tiny flickering spark that gently popped like a soap bubble. A curved shard of darkness emerged, as vast as a moon. Varnock recognized instantly, a rupture forming in the very fabric of space-time. His species had theorized such technology eons ago before concluding it impossible, as the energy costs were astronomical. The gash widened, revealing a swirling turquoise miasma. Varnock stood in mute shock as 5 human vessels, similar in design to the Intrepid, emerged from the portal, and behind them, partially eclipsed by the closing fissure, Varnock glimpsed impossible shapes. Spires and cubes floating in the luminous mist, structures too geometrically precise to be natural. As the rupture vanished with a faint pop, a trio of sleek single-pilot fighters emerged from the human ships, weaving between them in intricate acrobatics. They performed velocity, shifts no biological pilot could withstand, then flashed away as directed energy propulsion. One activated a perfect invisibility cloak, vanishing from all senses before reappearing with a flash of plasma engines. Round Varnock, his officers made whimpering clicks of panic and despair as the full scope of human transcendence laid bare before them in mere seconds of bizarre time. Prior hierarchies meant nothing now. They all stood equal in this revelation. "As you surmised, we are indeed Class 5, said Admiral Bricker. "We have developed expertise in efficient mind uploading and exist primarily as software entities inhabiting virtual worlds of our own design. The ships and backgrounds you see here are manifestations we create at will, existing for mere moments." He checked the display over his wrist again. "It has been 2 minutes and 17 seconds since we began." Varnock signaled hopeless resignation with all 6 limbs. "Then you have already seized control of our galaxy using these capabilities. We are but servants existing in one of your created worlds." "No, not at all," Bricker responded gently. He waved his hand, and Earth vanished from the window, replaced by streaming markers of galactic traffic, commerce, and civilizations. "We have done no such thing. The hierocracy and other races thrive fully independently of us. We continue quietly exploring other realms of reality for now." Varnock swayed confusion. "Why?" "We have transcended biological existence, but that gift brings new questions of purpose and morality extremes," the Admiral said. "Some of us wish to guide younger civilizations toward more peaceful ends to avoid catastrophes we endured, but more wish to allow self-determinative evolution." He shrugged. "So for now, we restrain ourselves. We depart this reality periodically to thrive elsewhere and gain more wisdom from our journeys. In a few more millennia, we may reassess." The starscape reverted to orbit over Earth as Bricker checked his wrist again. 3 minutes 22 seconds elapsed. Varnock slowly smoothed his quivering antenna with a shuddering gestalt of defeat and exhilaration and opportunity. Perhaps there were still avenues of mutual interest to explore after all. The humans could have easily destroyed the unsuspecting survey vessel or seized his crew's minds, yet they chose peaceful contact and an elegant demonstration of transcendence. That spoke louder than any monument to their power. Here stood beings who remembered well their own struggles upward, beings who still cared for those left behind. "On behalf of the hierocracy, I offer sincere gratitude for your restraint and wisdom evident here today," Varnock signaled carefully. "Might we discuss possibilities of incremental cultural exchange programs? Perhaps even gentle guidance toward more efficient social models?" Admiral Bricker's eyes twinkled. "We hoped you might ask."